What if the fire you are running from is the very thing that was meant to awaken you? What if pain was never your enemy, but your teacher? Humanity has always feared fire, not just the flame that burns the skin, but the invisible fire that burns illusions, identities, and comfort. From the earliest civilizations to the modern world, fire has symbolized both destruction and rebirth. We build walls to keep it out, rules to control it, and stories to explain it. Yet time and again, fire returns, not to punish, but to reveal. Every human life begins with certainty. We believe the world is stable, predictable, fair. We believe effort guarantees reward, goodness ensures safety, and love is permanent. These beliefs comfort us. They give us structure, but they are fragile. And when life introduces fire, loss, failure, betrayal, rejection, those beliefs melt instantly. The shock is not in the pain itself, but in the realization that what we trusted was incomplete. Fire arrives without warning. It does not ask permission. It enters quietly at first, disguised as inconvenience, confusion, or disappointment. Then it grows. It spreads into relationships, careers, identities. Suddenly, what once felt solid feels uncertain. The mind searches desperately for escape, for someone to blame, for meaning that will make the pain stop. But fire does not respond to panic. It only intensifies. This is the moment most people turn away. They numb themselves with distractions, denial, or anger. They try to rebuild the same life, the same mindset, the same illusions, just faster and stronger. But fire cannot be outrun. What is not faced becomes repeated. What is not understood becomes heavier. And so the flames return again and again until attention is paid. Insight never comes before the fire. It comes through it. There is a moment in every deep struggle when resistance collapses, when exhaustion replaces fear, when a question changes from, "Why is this happening to me?" to "What is this trying to show me?" This moment is quiet. It does not feel heroic. It feels empty. The mind, stripped of control, finally stops fighting the heat. This is where everything false begins to burn away. The roles we play to be accepted, the identities built on approval, the dreams borrowed from others, the expectations imposed by society, family, or culture. Fire does not care how long you held on to them. It only asks whether they are real. If they are not, they cannot survive. Pain becomes sharpest here, not because the fire grows stronger, but because truth becomes unavoidable. You begin to see patterns, repeated mistakes, choices made from fear instead of honesty, relationships sustained by habit instead of connection. The fire exposes not just the world, but the self. And this realization is terrifying, because insight demands responsibility. Once you see clearly, you can no longer pretend. You can no longer blame circumstances alone. You realize that some suffering was inherited, but some was chosen. Some wounds were inflicted, but others were reopened repeatedly. This awareness hurts more than ignorance ever did. Yet it is the first moment of real power. Fire does not just destroy, it separates. It separates what is essential from what is excess, what is true from what is convenient, what is yours from what you were told to want. In this separation, identity dissolves, and in its place, awareness begins to form. This is the point of no return, because once insight begins, the old self cannot be rebuilt in the same way. Something has shifted. Something irreversible has happened. The fire has done its work. Insight does not arrive dramatically. There is no sudden music, no instant relief, no applause. It arrives quietly, almost unnoticed, like ash settling after a wildfire. It shows itself in subtle shifts, in how you listen, how you react, how you choose silence over explanation. You begin to understand that not every battle is meant to be fought. Not every truth is meant to be spoken. Not every loss is meant to be recovered. Some things were meant to end, so something more honest could begin. Insight teaches patience, not because waiting is easy, but because clarity cannot be rushed. You learn that growth does not mean becoming more. It often means becoming less. Less reactive, less attached, less dependent on outcomes you cannot control. You stop measuring your worth through comparison. You stop seeking validation from those who cannot see you. You stop chasing versions of success that leave you empty. Not because someone told you to, but because the fire showed you the cost. And the cost was too high. With insight comes discernment. You see manipulation where you once saw charm. You see fear where you once saw confidence. You see strength where you once saw silence. The world does not become darker. Your vision becomes sharper. This clarity changes how you move through life. You speak less but mean more. You promise less but keep more. You choose depth over attention, alignment over approval, truth over comfort. Insight does not make life easier. It makes it real. After the fire, there is a strange emptiness. The chaos is gone, but so is the old excitement. The illusions are burned, but nothing has fully replaced them yet. This is the phase most people misunderstand. They think something is wrong because life feels quiet, slow, uncertain. But this quiet is not failure. It is integration. The mind is relearning how to exist without false urgency. The heart is recalibrating after emotional extremes. The soul is rebuilding, not from fantasy, but from truth. This phase cannot be rushed. Anything built too quickly will collapse again under pressure. Walking through the ashes requires discipline. It requires saying no when the old patterns return. It requires solitude when distraction feels tempting. It requires trusting insight, even when results are not immediate. This is where wisdom matures. You begin to notice that peace is not the absence of problems. It is the absence of inner conflict. You still face challenges, but they no longer define you. You still feel pain, but it no longer controls you. You're no longer trying to prove anything. You're trying to live honestly. People may not recognize the change immediately. Some may feel uncomfortable around you. Others may drift away. Insight changes your energy. And not everyone can stay connected to someone who sees clearly. This is not loneliness. It is alignment. From the ashes, a quieter strength emerges. A strength that does not need to announce itself. A confidence that does not depend on outcomes. A presence that does not seek permission. The fire has passed, but its lesson remains. The final transformation is not about escaping fire, but embodying it. You no longer fear discomfort. You no longer avoid hard conversations. You no longer cling to certainty. You understand that growth requires heat and truth requires courage. You become someone who can sit with complexity, someone who can hold opposing emotions without collapsing, someone who can love without attachment, act without ego, and stand without approval. This is what it means to become the flame, not to burn others, but to illuminate, not to destroy, but to refine. Your presence challenges illusions, not by force, but by example. You move through life with awareness, humility, and intention. And when others face their own fires, they sense something in you. Not superiority, but understanding. Not answers, but depth. Because you do not speak from theory. You speak from ashes. The world does not need more noise. It needs more insight. More people willing to face the fire instead of running from it. More individuals who understand that suffering is not meaningless, but unfinished instruction. If you are in the fire right now, remember this. Flames do not ask for perfection. They ask for honesty. They ask for surrender. They ask for courage. And if you listen, if you stay long enough, you will emerge not untouched but awakened. Because fire does not destroy those who learn from it. It transforms them. And that transformation is called insight.